All right, straight to the stories now for analysis with Charles Fakroha, iBrandTV senior analyst. Good morning, Charles. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning. Thank you, Omobi, for having me on your show.
Let's begin with the deliberation by the House of Representatives urging the Central Bank of Nigeria to direct commercial banks to overhaul the existing online and electronic banking platforms for the efficient conduct of electronic banking operations. Of course, this is not new. We have in fact discussed it on several occasions on the show, how the online banking system is not or has not been prepared for the overwhelming situation it was met with, especially with the cash crunch that is currently ongoing in the country. But now the House of Reps is saying the CBN should ensure that these operations or these online platforms work effectively. How well do you think this call by the House of Rep would change the situation?
Yes, that is very, very good of the parliamentarians. It shows that they are really concerned and worried about the suffering the average Nigerian is going through. Because it is not funny, we use and use inside the bank, and at the end of the day, for them to even cash their money is the problem. And when they go out and use the other online systems, the online payment, the USD transfer, even the app, that usually is a problem. And it has become a real issue. You will do a transfer, you will get a debit, and the beneficiary will not even receive the money. There are some, before you do what you do after, it will be reversed back to you. So all these are issues, and they are even causing some social problems. So what the deposit money bank will do now is to improve on that their infrastructure, which is very, very critical. For us to transit into a cashless policy, we must have the infrastructure there to ensure that these online payment systems, are credible, and that will make the average Nigerian to have confidence in them and begin to embrace it as quickly as possible.
But do you think that, because we know that this isn't a new phenomenon, we've heard even the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, apologize to Nigerians for the deluge of, transactions, failed transactions on the online platforms. With this move or with this call, will this call change anything? Because CBN governor had already raised some opinion or some concerns in that regard, and it doesn't look like anything has changed. Do you think this call is perhaps what they need now to change everything around?
Yes, I think with this call, the parliamentarians have added their own voice to it. This will put more pressure on the bankers and, of course, maybe the technology people. So when everybody is talking about it, there is pressure on them, and we believe that indeed the rules now begin to improve on those facilities. We've been told that probably they don't have the capacity, maybe the manpower, technical know-how for this technical project. So it is now time to this call from the parliamentarians for them to do the needful. Of course, and I know that maybe after some few times, the parliamentarians will call them again to reassess the process whether there has been an improvement in what we are experiencing now.
Although we've also heard that some of the tech guys who work in that department have already left the country due to the whole jackpot, trend that happened, or that is still happening, and that's one of the reasons it's difficult for them to manage their online platforms. So do you think that this perhaps would help the situation?
Yes, I agree with you. Most of the experienced tech guys have left. So again, the bank should begin to recruit, even if it's going to send the ones that we have recruited abroad for that kind of training, or have the retainership with even the experienced ones. Because no man is an island. That technology, that expertise is all over the place. It's now left for this banking institution, another financial institution, to know where to get these guys, get this technology, and begin to deploy it. Yes, there will be some issues here and there because we are going through. But I believe with this new kind of people they are recruiting, giving them the right training, I'm sure with time we'll be able to handle this issue very well. And I will see the online banking.
Okay, we'll see how that pans out. Well, to the aviation sector now, where the Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, said that the federal government will complete the ongoing concession of some international airports and the launch of Nigeria Air before May 29. And of course, he's speaking or saying this against the backdrop of various controversies and litigations surrounding the National Carrier Project and Airport Concession Program. This isn't the first time. In fact, a lot of people have known or tagged the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, as a broken record, because he has talked about this concession for several years without any positive result. But now he's saying about 2 months' time, May 29, the concession would be perfected. And he also talked about how the Nigeria Air would be flying both domestically and internationally. How feasible is this?
Well, as the Minister of the Federal Republic, the Aviation Minister has the responsibility to give Nigerians the best aviation services under his watch. We have heard so many stories, concession there, concession here. Yes, this latest assurance, we are taking into the seat of salt because, like you have said, we have said it several times, we have not seen any results. There's just from maybe these 2 months to their expiration of this administration is coming again with this assurance. Well, maybe they have done all their groundwork and everything is set. We'll just wait and see when things comes, and as they are leaving the state, we'll now see whether all these things talking about the concession and of course the Air Nigeria will come into play. It's just a matter of time. We'll just be patient with it.
Well, it looks like some last-minute fire brigade approach just to save face before they leave office. But as you said, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see how that goes. But let's now talk about the Central Bank of Nigeria that has now promised that they have already begun the disbursement of old Naira notes to deposit money banks as government authorities stepped up effort to end the biting currency scarcity that has inflicted pain on millions of bank customers nationwide. They directed DMBs to pick old 1,500 and 200 Naira notes at their offices across the country for onward disbursement to customers following a meeting with the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele and bank chief executive officers on Wednesday. Well, there are two different sides to the story. First, some people will tell you that since March the 3rd, when the Supreme Court gave the ruling, it took 11 days for the CBN to consent and issue a statement, concurring or a statement agreeing with that of the Supreme Court. And then now they are coming up to say that this is several weeks after the Supreme Court order saying that, they are going to begin to disburse the 1,500 and 200 Naira notes to the commercial deposit money banks. Do you think that perhaps there's something fishy here? Because some people have raised opinions that perhaps they don't even have these old Naira notes and they're just trying to, while away time in order to get them printed.
Yes, I think I agree with that, your last assertion that the CBN does not really have these old Naira notes enough. Because the principle is when this old Naira notes were taken to the bank and onward transmitted to CBN, what the process is always going to be destroyed because they were no longer legal tender. So now, with the Supreme Court judgment, and of course, we saw how the CBN took their time to respond to that judgment and obey it. Then they could be buying their time to print more of the old Naira notes that they have already destroyed. Because it's amazing to see that some persons they collect old Naira notes with clean print, which tells you that they are just printing this old Naira notes all over again. So that what Nigerians should not panic is that the need has the capacity to print this old Naira notes. So it's a matter of CBN increasing the printing of these old Naira notes and make it available. Yeah, it is very clear they might not have enough of the old Naira notes and are just trying to ration it here and there, buying time to see that production is going on, and of course, with time, you'll be able to flood the country with the old Naira notes in new print.
Well, talking about time, top bank officials have said that it would take about 2 weeks for the whole situation to normalize, looking at the fact that, the bank queues might not disappear until later next week because of the fact that, this might take a long process to recirculate the old Naira note. But let's also look at another side of the story. You'd recall that the NLC had issued a threat that by next week, Wednesday, they would picket the CBN offices if all of this situation, the Supreme Court order, wasn't implemented. And some people have said it could be as a result of that threat. But now, of course, this story is saying it was as a result of the meeting the CBN governor had with the bank executives. Do you think that perhaps the meeting is as a result of the threat, or they are totally not related?
Well, if you ask me, in my own opinion, I think it's related, because I mean the CBN is here to serve the Nigerian public. And if the suffering we are undergoing is as a result of their own inaction or action, then getting that kind of threat from the labor union, of course, we'll put them on the tool to see that they are not the ones, creating the conditions for the labor union to give that kind of an ultimatum. So, yes, it's going to be positive if within 2-3 weeks, the labor union or Nigeria see that these Naira notes are available, I can go to the ATM and collect without any stress, then of course, the suffering will have been reduced and the NLC threat will not be necessary any longer. I think that this could be related, and of course, the CBN, as a government agency, they are responsible to the people. They want to be seeing that they are doing their work as being a responsive government organization to see the suffering of the Nigerian market.
Well, if you say they are responsive, some Nigerians would argue against that, saying that it took them 11 days to even respond after the highest arbiter of law, the Supreme Court, gave the order that the old Naira note should remain legal tender until December the 31st. And even the first citizen of the country, President Muhammadu Buhari, also didn't, follow that order initially. And so if you say they are responsive to the people, how responsive are they if you look at all of the indices, especially considering the fact that this administration would be out of power, out of seat very soon? And there have been some, permutations that this is, probably because the elections are over, they probably have achieved what they wanted to achieve, and now they're going back to status quo.
Okay, well, it's a little bit dicey because the CBN will tell you there are bureaucracy. The Supreme Court has given the judgment. Then, of course, it will get to them. The legal people will look at it. A lot of bureaucracy. So, although I'm not holding spot for the CBN, but I think bureaucracy will have to take place, and to the general CBN governor, and of course, the presidency, we need to discuss, just within themselves without the public being aware. And of course, we see out, and at the end of the day, it will be that the judgment, or they are now going to be carrying out the judgment of the Supreme Court. Yes, they were a little bit lazy, or would I use that word? They did not respond as quickly as possible. But that can be attributed to maybe bureaucracy in the civil service and public health. But however, that is not an excuse for them to behave that way. Moving forward, we have obeyed the Supreme Court order, and let us just move forward.
All right, let's talk about the International Monetary Fund, which has now said that subsidies, tax incentives, infrastructure development, and protective regulations will help fast-track the growth of industries in Nigeria and other emerging market economies. Of course, this is not news. They have said it several times. International bodies have come out to say that Nigeria businesses need a lot of, incentives when it comes to growth and development. And the IMF coming out this time to reiterate this statement. What do you think it means for Nigeria?
Yes, for our industry to survive, I agree, we have to adapt that policy of economic nationalism. That is, we need to protect our infant industry. We need to encourage our businessmen for them to be able to compete internationally. Yes, we need to do all the tax incentives, subsidies, and create that enabling environment for our industry to thrive. If we don't do this, then it will not be suitable for them to compete internationally. Yes, for most countries want to say you want to achieve economic sustainability, yes, free trade and all that. The fact remains that your own industry you need to protect them so that by the time they are also now producing with time to become competitive. So it's not a issue of just saying allowing to liberalization, free trade. You know, you need to have some form of protection to encourage your own local industry. So I agree with IMF that countries like Nigeria need to protect their local industry to improve.
But the fact that they are one of the lenders, major lenders of Nigeria, when it comes to, you know, boosting the economy, when it comes to growing businesses, SMEs in Nigeria, shouldn't there be some form of monitoring, some form of, you know, follow-up when it comes to all of these funds that they give out to the country? Perhaps that would be a more effective way of tackling the lack of growth and development and all of the challenges that businesses face in Nigeria.
Yes, I agree with you. And you must recall that it's not that easy to monitor for these businesses. But with all the national policy, what the government is trying to do, you know, in terms of ease of doing business, collaborating with international agencies to see that our local industries have the capacity, have the expertise, you know, to continue to produce and perform. But most importantly, you have mentioned the international partners, you know, trying to see that they also monitor. Yes, I must tell you, they also have their own mechanism in which they use to monitor funds that they have given out, especially using the United Nations Industrial Fund to monitor some of these SMEs. But the fact remains that our businessmen must also begin to show some integrity, begin to open businesses that are sustainable. That will be their goal. Not just coming out doing the business when there are just one or two challenges to hold up. We should be building businesses that can withstand the test of time, that are sustainable. It's not a one-man business. Something that they have a succession plan, something that can grow there. So that by the time they are no longer there, the business will continue to strive. It's not where one man is doing very well, and once that particular founder goes down, then that business also collapse. That is not a sustainable business. So that is what the Nigerian government will begin to do now to ensure that businesses have a sustainable plan, so that even if anything happens in terms of challenges, these businesses will still continue to be. Of course, they require a lot of government and support.
Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for the robust analysis. Charles Fakroha, iBrandTV Senior Analyst. Still to come after the break at the close of trading session on Thursday, the Nigerian Exchange Limited All-Share Index and its equities market capitalization depreciated by 0.02% and 54,936.11 basis points, respectively. Details after the break. Don't go anywhere.